Hey guys, for today's video, we're going to check out some weird and wonderful builds that I have found in Korean Challenger, and some of these have also popped up during MSI as well if you've been watching that. We focus a lot on the meta on the channel, so today we're just going to chill, go and grab a cup of tea, maybe a biscuit if you're feeling adventurous, and have a look at some more fun stuff that actually works and is good. To kick us off, we have probably the most legit build of this entire video. I thought we would start with something that is, to be honest, the most meta build for Darius in Challenger in Korea, and then we'll dive into things like Banner, Rush, Lulu mid a bit later. So you might have actually heard of this one. We are looking at Darius with Ghost Flash, Trinity Force, and a Banner of Command. I think this is a Chinese player who does it, which I'll link his op.gg down below. He's a top 50 player though in Korea and uses the same build pretty much every single time that he plays Darius. It is way more aggressive of a style, so if you're the kind of player who wants to go aggressive in the lane phase, you want to be fighting all the time and actually trying to win your lane, this will be a really good build for you to try, and especially if you're having a little bit of an issue ending the game or carrying, I guess, the rest of your team, this would really help that. There are some really big problems with Darius. Honestly, kiting him around a lot and falling off, those are kind of the two biggest ones, and this build really fixes both, kind of. So you do have more damage. That's kind of the main point of this, right? You're building a Trinity Force, you're building a Sterex after that, rather than like a Black Cleaver and then something like a Deadman's after that. It isn't just Trinity Force. Obviously, you have your Sheen, which is really good, but Sterex lets him survive longer and gives him a lot more burst because it's increasing your Sheen damage. Banner of Command is pretty interesting actually, because Darius is designed as a champion to be a lane bully, right? But the trade-off that you're going to face for that is that you don't do as well in team fights and especially late game. Banner helps a little bit with that. You get defensive stats, both armor and magic resist, which is great, but you're able to like create pressure even if Darius is designed to get worse over time. I guess the way of putting this is it's helping your team win in other ways, not just raw damage, which you have anyway obviously, but you're more of a pain in the ass. Like you can push with the banner and then group. You can actually push with it as well though. Taking Ghost instead of teleport might seem a bit weird, but it means that you can't kite him around at all either. So more damage, but a way to get in and use it properly. Your runes are a little bit different as well actually. A Conqueror obviously is just insane like in any Darius build, especially when we're building more damage. You're going to get more true damage out of this as well. He actually takes tenacity and precision instead of attack speed, alacrity, or the bloodline, the lifesteal, so he's even harder to kite, especially when he builds Merc Treads as well. It will really help with like slows and stuff. He also takes Last Stand, more damage the lower health you are, so by the time you dunk somebody, it's probably going to be active and boost the burst even more. Obviously, like it takes a little while to get your bleed stacks, so you're going to lose some health, and this is actually going to boost your damage at the same time. So as I said, this is probably the most legit build of the entire video. Quite a few Challenger players play Darius, but they all use this build. Now anyway, let's get on to the weirder ones. So before we get into the really weird ones, actually, surprisingly, this is one of the other ones that I saw a few people running, Lethal Tempo Nocturne. is the main one who is doing this in Korean Challenger. He is the jungler for Jin Air Green Wings, by the way. But we actually also saw this in the RNG versus TL game for MSI. MLXG took the same page. Pretty much all of the other picks, though, I saw in Korean Challenger for Nocturne actually used this Lethal Tempo build. Now, in his defense, this was buffed in 8.8, and it is a lot better than before, but why would you take this over something like Electrocute? Obviously, it can work really well. It only helps you nuke one target, though, and to be fair, Nocturne doesn't really struggle with that anyway. Lethal Tempo is solid. It lets you take Precision Primary, which is really good for him, and abuse your passive a lot more. Nocturne has got a lot of solid buffs recently, but if we go back to 8.5, his passive was buffed and there was a new effect. Every auto attack versus a champion reduces your passive cooldown, the AoE damage and heal thingy, by the way, by 2 seconds per hit. So more attack speed means more passive procs and more healing, and that is a big part of it. You've got to remember as well that the more common build right now is Warrior Dustblade, which is a lot of burst and it will help you nuke somebody anyway, and then into crit, Static Shiv, Infinity Edge, and a Guardian Angel. So more Lethal Tempo. You've got to remember as well, the more common build right now is Warrior into Dustblade, which provides a lot of burst. It has a massive amount. Then you go into crit afterwards with Static Shiv, which helps even more, Infinity Edge, and also like a Guardian Angel. So when you take Lethal Tempo, more attack speed means more crits at the same time because you're actually building crit. The thing that feeds into that even more is that you have a whopping bonus 60 AD while standing on your Q, like a BF sword and a half, so you smacking more is a bit of a bugger to play against. Not only do you have 60 AD with every extra attack, but if that crits because you're building crit, that is going to do double damage. I guess the point with this is that you can lose a tiny bit of burst damage at the very start of a fight with Electrocute, but the rest of it is going to be much better, and you can clean up more than one person. So you're not just nuking one person anymore. After that, you're going to kill everybody around them. I would not be surprised if we saw this one a lot more now, especially since we saw it at MSI, even though actually MLXG lost to Team Liquid when they did this, but still, it is a really good build. This is really getting into the weird build territory though, so let me just say, you might want to mess around with this one now in normal games before risking your LP. Lulu mid is definitely not a new thing. It's been not that great for a little while, but I also have no idea if the guy playing this, who I'll link down below, is a pro or not. He's got over a 70% win rate with this, over 120 games played so far. Now anyway, Banner Rush Lulu, apparently this is now a thing. Playing her mid and top lane doesn't seem to bother this guy very much. The most common theme in all the games I looked at is the enemy tower in his lane dies before pretty much 15 minutes in most games, sometimes even 10 minutes, depends how early he gets that banner. It's kind of disgusting really, and by kind of I mean it's actually proper gross. After this he goes like Archangels, Sensor, Magi, that kind of threat, but it's really just a support on steroids with a lot more gold than normal. Having two supports in this meta is bad enough to play against, but one that has taken her tower that early into the game and actually won their lane, that is even worse. If you're the type of person who wants to see how far you can push the enemy laner, how much you can really make them tilt, 100% this is a very good pick for you to test out. There isn't really anything that amazing to point out. It is normal Lulu with more AP, with a banner who cheeses and pushes towers all game. Remember as well that banner cannon minion is immune to magic damage, so enemy AP mid laners cannot really deal with it, and is why Scion mid works. They would have to auto attack the cannon minion to get rid of it, but Lulu will just poke you right at the backside and not let you get close, so you can't deal with it. Now, eBack Soraka is something that I've tried in solo queue on stream, and it is 100% busted. It is awesome. We have seen this at MSI. It's drawing bans, but literally the entire of Korean solo queue, no joke, is spamming this now, and if you want some juicy LP, you really should be as well. Not maxing heal sounds really dumb, to be fair. Some people go 3 points E, then max W after, but that part is really up to you. So the thing is, her E does a lot of damage. It is instant cast, it is a silence, and it's AoE. You run up, you E, you Q them as well, and you run away after that. They cannot trade or fight back because they are silenced, and it's kind of the most broken way to trade. The only problem is the cooldown, but that goes down to 16 seconds, rank 5, plus lowered by cooldown reduction even more. If you think I'm joking, by the way, this does almost the same damage as Brand's W, and this thing is instant cast, so it's pretty hard to miss. With Avery, it turns Soraka into the dumbest lane bully I've seen for a very long time. Honestly, EQ with Avery and Scorch is like 300, 350 damage maybe every time you throw it out. She plays basically the same as standard Soraka, just way more aggressive and a lot more lane control, which to be honest is awesome for solo queue. Not only is Soraka hard to play against anyway, but this version is kind of one of the hardest lanes to play against right now, I think. There is not much you can do, and there really is not much counterplay. We are back to another weird one now. Let's get some Arcane Comet full AP Nunu jungle. I think Ascara has been whipping this out with Predator Nunu, but this is like a little bit different, full ham. It's like Runic Echoes, Sulk Boots, Morello, Leandry's Void Staff, and a cheeky Banner of Command to finish it off. Of course it is. AP Nunu might be very squished, but his damage is honestly insane. If you would stick these numbers in his kit on another AP mid champion, they will be broken. You have a point and click that you cannot really miss. Well, actually you can miss it, but it's very difficult to miss it. That does 300 damage plus 90% of all the AP you have on a 3-second cooldown. Your ultimate has the potential to do like 1400 damage and 250% of whatever AP you have. The funny thing is that when you pick up Leandry's as well, your first Ice Blast actually activates it, and the second one will be doing the extra bonus damage from the ramp up time. I didn't really ever think about it before either, but like with that 65% slow on there as well, it's practically impossible to dodge the follow-up Arcane Comet damage. After the Nunu changes as well to give 40% bonus AP with his Blood Bowl, that's an even nastier combo than before, and AP Nunu actually makes even more sense. There are actually quite a few Nunus in Korean Challenger. Most are running Zeke's and Guardian and Cinderhulk, the kind of boring version, but this is definitely the more fun one that you can play and actually kill people. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me about TP Ezreal and what the deal is. It's basically just a double tier build, but with better macro play and better base timing is to get these tiers stacked even faster. Now, Prey has been doing this in solo queue for quite a while actually. This is not something secret that he whipped out just for MSI. A lot of people are doing this now, like a lot of people the entire ladder is flooded with it. They're either doing it in solo queue or they're just testing it out in normal games. Korea loves Ezreal, right? So whenever there is something new that comes up, they all test it and they see if they like it. With how much it is being played right now and continuously played, it's fair to say they actually think it's pretty good. But now saying that, I tried this on stream and without a pre-made support to base and abuse it, without any team communication, and it wasn't really that good. It wasn't like terrible or anything, but you definitely miss your heal with the random support who's trying to fight and doesn't really understand that we don't have it. If you can use it properly, you're supposed to get things like a better base timing, so you get your tier earlier, you don't miss minion waves, so more farm and more gold. Faster tier stacking as well, because you get it earlier and you can base it at proper times. A faster double tier power spike, which is really important as well in this double tier build. You're going to get a faster Mura mana, or you should do, and you should have better map movement or reaction to plays as well. The thing is, you don't really have to have heal as Ezreal because you're such a safe AD carry, and especially if you run Soraka support. This is exactly what Prey has been doing in solo queue, what pretty much everybody is trying to do in Korean Challenger. It seems like Ezreal and Soraka together is kind of the new thing if you take teleport. That is going to wrap up the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these builds. Let me know if you try them and you have some fun with them. I know we look at the meta a lot, but time to check out something that's just a bit more fun. Let me know what you think, but for now, I will leave you with the robots.